Willow Creek, Pennsylvania, was the kind of town people described as safe. A place where doors were left unlocked, and everyone knew the faces of their neighbors. That sense of security shattered on the evening of March 4th, 2019, when Laura Bennett, a 29-year-old nurse at the local clinic, vanished without a trace. Laura was well loved in Willow Creek. Patients described her as compassionate and steady, with a smile that seemed to calm even the most anxious child. She had grown up in town, attended the same high school as many of her patients' parents, and was known for her willingness to pick up long shifts when no one else would. So when Laura failed to show up for her morning shift, alarm bells rang immediately. She wasn't the kind of person who disappeared, not without telling someone. Police found Laura's car in the parking lot of the Willow Creek Clinic. Her keys were still inside. Her purse and wallet sat neatly on the passenger seat, as though she had just stepped away for a moment. But Laura was gone. At first, investigators suspected a random act of violence. The parking lot wasn't far from a wooded trail, and theories swirled: a passing drifter, a predator lying in wait, a botched robbery. The community rallied, organizing search parties that combed the woods, riverbanks, and empty barns. Candlelight vigils were held nightly. For weeks, it seemed as if Laura had simply vanished into thin air. As the investigation deepened, police began peeling back the layers of Laura's seemingly perfect life. They learned that Laura had recently ended a quiet but complicated relationship with Ethan Cross, a paramedic who worked in the same building. Ethan admitted they had been close, but claimed the breakup was mutual. His alibi for the night of Laura's disappearance checked out. He had been on duty, with his movements logged by dispatch. But investigators soon discovered Laura had also been receiving a string of late-night calls and messages from another man, Dr. Peter Langford, the town's well-respected family physician. Langford was married with 2 teenage children. To the community, he was a role model. Behind closed doors, though, he had been involved in a secret affair with Laura for nearly a year. When questioned, Langford admitted to the relationship, but insisted he had nothing to do with her disappearance. He claimed Laura had recently tried to end things, but he had let her go. Detectives weren't so sure. The investigation stalled until one of Laura's close friends came forward with a crucial piece of information. She revealed that Laura had been terrified in the weeks before she went missing. In late February, Laura confided that someone was following her. Someone who knew things about her personal life she hadn't shared with anyone else. That revelation shifted the investigation's focus. Detectives began re-examining phone records and surveillance footage. What they discovered stunned them. On the night of Laura's disappearance, a grainy security camera near the clinic captured the shadowy outline of a figure pacing the lot shortly before she left work. Enhanced footage later revealed it wasn't Dr. Langford. It wasn't Ethan either. It was Sarah Mitchell, Laura's closest friend and fellow nurse. Sarah had been by Laura's side since high school. They were inseparable, working the same shifts, taking weekend trips, even serving as bridesmaids in each other's weddings. But as investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a darker side to Sarah's loyalty. Sarah had known about Laura's affair with Dr. Langford for months. Friends recalled Sarah growing increasingly bitter and jealous, convinced Laura was ruining her life and making a fool of everyone. Confronted by detectives, Sarah cracked. She admitted she had confronted Laura in the parking lot that night. What began as a heated argument spiraled into violence. In a moment of rage, Sarah struck Laura, killing her instantly. In a panic, she placed Laura's body in the trunk of her own car and later buried her in a wooded area on her family's remote property. The revelation devastated Willow Creek. For weeks, Sarah had been attending vigils, standing shoulder to shoulder with grieving neighbors and comforting Laura's family, all while hiding the truth. In court, prosecutors described Sarah as consumed by envy and resentment, unable to bear Laura's independence and secrets. She was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison. Laura's body was laid to rest in the town cemetery, where hundreds gathered to honor her memory. A memorial plaque now stands outside the Willow Creek Clinic, engraved with the words, "In loving memory of Laura Bennett, our nurse, our neighbor, our friend. But even years later, the community still struggles with the betrayal. The tragedy of Laura Bennett's disappearance was not only the loss of a kind and gifted young woman, but also the chilling realization that the danger had come from someone she trusted most.